Hello, my name is Mrs. C, and I'm an ELL teacher here at Florida Connections Academy. Today, I'm going to be going over the Unit 3 All About Objects, Lesson 5 How Can You Sort Objects portfolio assignment. This is a science assignment that you'll complete at home with your learning coach and then turn into your teacher for a grade. So let's look at our rubric so we know what to do. Right here under parts, I see it says, I identified 3 categories and sorted objects successfully. So that's what we're doing today. We're sorting objects. I categorized my objects by their composition, that's what they're made of, characteristics, that might be how they look or how they feel, and or use. What do you use this object for? Then I came up with a 4th category on my own and sorted objects into that category correctly. So it doesn't sound too tough, does it? But before we begin, let's talk about ways we can sort objects. That's what you've been learning about after all. Usually when we sort objects, we use our 5 senses. So we could sort something by how it looks. We could sort something by how it tastes. We could sort something by how it feels. We can sort something by how it sounds. And we can sort something, by how it smells. We have another category in this one, in this project, where we can sort it by how you use it. So how do you use an object? What is its purpose? So let's go ahead and look at the worksheet that you're going to print out and complete. Our directions say preview the images in each category. So let's do that now. Let's look at those images. I see a picture of a feather, some crayons, and a rock. Our next direction says name the category. You can name it by its composition. Remember, that's what it's made of. Characteristics. We're going to use those 5 senses. Or its use. How do we use that object? So right here, I see there's a feather. When I think of a feather, I think of things floating or flying. So I think I want this category to be a weight category. And I'm going to write the word light, Light. So things that do not weigh a lot. That's what this category is going to be all about. This next one, I see crayons, and I'm a teacher. So the first thing I think of is school. So I'm going to write drawing. These are drawing tools. That's how we use them, right? So drawing tools. You could write school supplies. That would work too. Our next one, I see a rock. When I think of rocks, I think of how they feel. They feel really hard, right? You could do hard, you could do rough, you could do bumpy, you could even do heavy. We have a light category. You could have a heavy category too. All right, and then my 4th category, this is for me to come up with. So this is for me to think, what kind of category would I like to have? Well, I don't really have a category based on how things look yet. So I want to make a shiny category. I'm going to find some items that are shiny and sort them in that section. All right, so let's go back to our directions. Now we're going to collect at least 3 items around the house to sort into each category. If you don't have any items that fit in these categories in your home, you can also use the photos on the next page. I see lots of good ideas here. I see some markers. Those would be perfect for drawing tools, right? They would go right here with our crayons. I also see some stones or pebbles. Those are definitely hard, like that rock. So I could put them right here. So you can choose to print and cut out these pictures and sort them, or you can sort your own objects in your own house. So that's what I did. Now, after we do those first 3 categories that are made for us, remember, we have to do our 4th category. We have to do the one that we chose. Now, I chose to do a shiny category, so that means I'm going to have to find 2 shiny items in my house. So let me show you what I decided to find. When I was in my light category with that nice soft light feather, I thought of other things that fly and float and kind of fall to the ground. And I thought of leaves, falling leaves, right? They're really light, not heavy at all. They kind of float down when they fall. Yeah, so I put a leaf into that category, the light category. For my next one, which was a drawing tool, I had a lot of highlighters on my desk, and they were colorful just like those markers too. So you could have even done a colorful category. But I used highlighters as a drawing tool because I like to draw and write with highlighters all the time. So I thought they matched those crayons perfectly. All right, my next section had that rock. That was my hard and rough, right? Hard. So I had my own rock I could have put in there too. This one's like a little smoother, more like a pebble, right? That's still very hard. And I also found this really cool double-decker bus, and it's really hard too. It's made out of metal. It's not made of stone, but it's really hard as well. So I put that in my hard category. For my fourth category, I needed two shiny objects, right? I had to do both examples myself. So I found this shiny gold trophy. Dun, da, da. And I found this beautiful shiny mirror. It's got a beautiful picture of a rose on the front. And if I open it, it's kind of hard to open right now for some reason. I have a mirror inside that's really, really shiny, right? And reflective. So I did these two objects in my shiny category. But wait, you are not done. Even after you found and sorted those objects, we still have a little more to do on our worksheet. So let's look at it again. Now my categories are complete. I've put each item in. Now I need to write some sentences. Number 1 says, what was the name of the first category and why did you place the objects in that category? So for my paper, the name of my category was the light category, right? And I placed a leaf in with the feather because neither of those objects were heavy. They were both very light and floaty and thin, so they matched. The next question says, what was the name of the second category? And why did you place the objects in that category? So my second category was drawing tools. I put highlighters in the drawing tools category because I like to draw and color with highlighters, just like I like to draw and color with crayons. The third question says, what was the name of the third category and why did you place the objects in that category? Well, that was my hard category, and I placed a hard metal bus in that category with the rock because both of them felt very hard and tough. Last question. What was the name of the fourth category and why did you place the objects in that category? Well, I named my fourth category the shiny section, and I put a shiny gold trophy and a shiny silver mirror in there because they were both very shiny and reflective. So make sure you write sentences in each of these. Here, let's go ahead and do the first one together. The first category. Some of these words are right here, so you can look to see how you spell them. The first category was the light category. I put a feather and leaf in this category because they are not heavy. They are very light. All right, so that is my answer to the first question. Remember, you can read some of these words and find out how to spell them up here, and you can also ask your learning coach for some help to make sure that you can get all of those words in there in complete sentences. Make sure you start with a capital letter. Make sure you end with a period, okay? And you're going to do the same thing just like we talked about for each of your other categories. Just make sure you don't do the same thing as Mrs. C. Make sure you think of your own categories. And remember, if you don't have objects around your house, you can print these out and talk about these objects as well. You can put each one of these into a category. Okay, so once we've done all of that, make sure your name is at the top of your paper. Upload it and turn it into your teacher so he or she can give you a really awesome grade. Well done. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.